six-pack Joe going to the store, reads in the paper that so-and-so politician is all of a sudden got rich off windmills. He's not dumb. He can figure out what's going on. The windmill project in Rhode Island, according to the, I watch a lot of YouTube. It's it's good. I mean, it's almost a default. Most people I know, it's their default TV now is YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, the windmill project in Rhode Island, I don't know the name of the project, but it's in the news all the time.
Offshore windmills.
Yeah, offshore windmills in the ocean. So the Kennedy type people don't want it because it's in their backyard, and the Obamas, people that live in Nantucket and Rhode Island and all those fancy places don't want it. They want to put them up in Rangeley, Maine, because we don't care up here. What do we care
about natural beauty and
right,
living a decent life?
But that windmill is huge, and it provides 1/700th. And the guy he wrote it out on a piece of paper and did the math of the kilowatt hours. He was smarter than I was. 1/700th of the electricity that it takes to power, not just the area that it's going to power, but Rhode Island, which is the size of that coffee cup. So the windmill project, with the wind blowing, 1/700th of what Rhode Island uses for power, and they've shut down either one or two big power plants in Rhode Island,
and they wrecked a commercial fishery.
And they wrecked a commercial fishery too, and the windmills are already falling apart out in the ocean. One came apart. I don't know where it was. It was on the news. I just kind of laughed when I walked by the TV because the windmill was the blade was sticking down in the in the ocean, and the environmentalist people were worried that the material that the blade was made out of was going to poison the fish. So who said that it's okay to, well, I guess windmills would be our biggest thing here. Solar panels are there's a few solar farms around, but they're small.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 acres or something. So they're not too offensive yet. They're not, well, I don't know, when you get off the turnpike and Gray, that one's kind of offensive when I see that one. It used to be cows in that field. Now there's windmills. I mean, now there's solar panels. But the windmill, who's to dynamite the top of a mountain? You got to build a road up there to get the windmill projects they use. My neighbor does them. And they're, you got to blast the top of a mountain range, blast it, just to flatten off a spot to put these windmills and build a road to it and maintain the road to it. And the erosion from maintaining the road every year. It's like cash for clunkers when they wanted it in, what was that, early 2000s, trade in your
Obama, yeah.
Yeah, trade in your Ford Bronco for a Toyota Tacoma, and you got $4,000 for your Ford Bronco. Well, sounds great. Yeah, you're driving something that gets 25 miles a gallon versus something that, gets 15 miles to the gallon. But the natural resources that it took to build that better gas mileage car versus keeping that Ford Bronco on the road and not mining all that new steel and rubber and all the resources that it takes to build that car. They didn't really factor that into the point. Okay, this guy's only driving 5,000 miles a year in his 96 Bronco that gets 10 miles to the gallon. So you give him $4,000 of our money to buy a Toyota Tacoma that gets better gas mileage. They're all going to be off the road in 10 years, rusted out anyway. But maybe he's maintaining that Bronco. Maybe it's, not rusted, or he just, anything. Doesn't matter. But why is that better to just junk that and get rid of it and buy the new car?
Someone's getting rich from it.
And that was a whole scam on the Cash for Clunkers. I don't know if you have ever reported on that, but I don't remember the particulars of it, but it was a scam. I mean, they got rich on it.
But it's all a scam, and nothing's a bigger scam than wind power.
Yeah, that's huge. You read those articles, and they're not on the everyday news, but there's been articles on the local papers about the scamming.
Have you ever shot one with a 308?
I'd love to shoot one. They were going to put them behind my house on my mountain. That was a big thing. Oh yeah, my wife was going to the meetings, and my neighbor had the signs up, no windmills, and the bat. There was a species of bat up there that was rare, or a breeding ground for bat breeding grounds, and that was apparently why they didn't do it. And the money for them, I think when Trump got in, didn't a lot of that stuff dry up?
I don't know, probably not.
I don't know, but something happened politically, but it was the bat thing that was holding them back, and that was what, and they still have 100-year I don't know if it's a lease or an agreement that they could still go up there and do it.
If they put those windmills in, what caliber rifle would have stopped them, do you think?
I don't know. I think you got to hit them right in the middle. I don't think a bullet hole through the tip of the wing is it's like shooting an airplane with a bullet in the wing. It's really not going to stop the plane. You got to hit the guts of it, You really get it. And this is I'm usually right about these kind of things. Okay, in 50 years, when these windmills, or probably 30 years, when these windmills are abandoned and falling apart, they're just, nobody's taking care of them anymore. The whole industry is bankrupt. They're falling over on the side of the mountain. They're just wasted. People are going to go there, and there's going to be no friggin' wire going to the thing to start with. It's that much of a scam. Like, there's not even a wire going to the thing. That's my prediction.
So you think we're going to discover this whole thing is bullshit? Like, they're not actually producing power.
Yeah, they're not even hooked up. There's nothing on the inside. It's just big blades. There's no generator on the inside or anything.
Have you ever been?
I'm that much of a weirdo that I
don't think that's weird at all. I don't think it's weird at all. This 20-year-old kid with no training just shot Trump at 140 yards with a .223.
Right.
Anything is possible.
That's for sure, yeah.
Have you ever been up and poked around the windmills?
I've never been... Not those big ones. I mean, I've been up towers and stuff. I've climbed towers before, but I've never been up a windmill tower. No, I don't like getting near them. I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They're not scenic. I don't want to spend, I'm not going to take my vacation in the Bronx. I'm not going to go hang out next to a friggin' windmill. It's basically the same thing to me. Yeah. My friend has a camp. You've been there where you look out the porch and you see the 22 windmills on the mountain. I don't know. It kind of ruins it for me.
I agree.
I mean, maybe I'm just being selfish. I don't know.
No, they're being selfish, actually.
Right. I mean,
they're moving them into poor areas where the towns have been depopulated because of changes that they instituted to our economy, and the town can't say no because they need the money.
Right. Yeah, they're buying off the people they can be bought off.
Yeah.
Cheap. Yeah. And it's, it's like selling the family farm to send your kid to college type of theory, right? Is it such a good idea that we're doing this? Selling our mountaintops to the windmill people for some quick cash right now? Is that the best thing for our future? Probably not.
It sounds like a crime.
It should be. I mean, especially when there's like no vote on it. Like, I hate to pick on rich people, but the rich people own the land.
Yeah.
And they're selling they're not really doing anything with it. They log it. We've been logging it for years. The poor people do benefit from it. The working class benefit, the paper mills benefit from it. Okay. That industry's kind of drying up from what we saw the other day. And, okay, well, this is our last chance to get just a little bit more money out of that land. Well, some friggin' scam deal with the government to put windmills on it, One last little push. Give the little people a little something so they can build a new school or something out of the money, or put a new road in, or new something. They're selling their soul. You really are. You always feel you're selling when you sell land. I've sold land before, kind of because I had to, or I was moving or relocating, or I needed the money, and it just felt so soul burning. Like I didn't feel good afterwards.
No, you shouldn't.
After I sell that land, I mean, I had to, and no regrets against it. I got a lot of land now, so I made out better.
Yeah.
I think I bettered myself doing it, but while I was doing it, I'm like, man, I'm selling land that belonged to my grandfather. Like, I just don't feel good. No, even though it wasn't much, it was only a couple of acres. I needed to pay some bills and, buy some stuff, but I'm like, I just don't feel good doing this,
I think that's right.
Yeah.
When those windmills break, who's going to cart them off, and what happens to them?
They're big. You ever seen one going down the road, the blade?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they take up the whole road. Yeah, I don't know what the motors on the inside and the bearings of the construction company in town bought a crane like a $4 million crane just to work on them. You need that big equipment. So you can't tell me that going around and maintaining, there's a lot of windmills in Maine now. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And they still only provide supposedly 16% of the power from Maine. Now they say to Maine, that's another thing. When you read these things, you have to really watch what you read, because the 16% of the power for Maine is the residents. And then another article said that doesn't, I don't know if this is true or not, just what I read on the internet, that doesn't include industrial power. houses use very little electricity. It doesn't take much to power the houses in Maine.
Right.
They use most of the electricity, but they use very little.
Right.
But the factories and stuff, and they use power. Ski areas use a shitload of power.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.